A crazy thing happens to me one year on Thanksgiving morning. So we were up cooking early in the morning and my wife was preparing to make macaroni and cheese. Well, in her culture, it's called macaroni pie. And she had mixed all of the ingredients and it smelled so good. Now at the same time, I was preparing a dish. I have no idea what I was preparing at the time, but I also needed space in the oven. So when it was time for my dish to go into the oven, I head over to the oven, I pull down the door, and I'm attempting to pull the macaroni and cheese, the macaroni pie, off of the lower rack and put it on the higher rack. And I grabbed it by the sides, and the macaroni and cheese slips out of my hands and topples on the floor. The kitchen is full of people and everyone looks on in horror. Pierre dropped the macaroni and cheese. I remember my kids running into the kitchen laughing and pointing, and I felt so bad that I had dropped one of the main portions of Thanksgiving dinner. I would argue that that was probably the best mac and cheese macaroni pie that my wife had ever made, but we never got a chance to taste it. Life and leadership are the same way, especially when we're just starting out. We have all of these gifts, we have all of these talents, all of this potential, all of these opportunities, but a lot of times we end up being derailed or toppling over because we're not supporting our leadership in the right way. Listen, if you're not continuing to read, if you're not continuing to study, if you're not seeking advice and coaching and mentorship, if you're not constantly around people who have been successful, if you're not constantly around individuals who are going to challenge you, if you're not consistently trying to be a better leader on a day-to-day basis, then it doesn't matter how many gifts you have, it doesn't matter how many resources you have access to. If your leadership is not being supported in the right way, eventually it's gonna come crashing down. So don't be like me on that Thanksgiving morning, thinking I had everything under control and making the mistake of not supporting the macaroni pie underneath. Make sure you have the support that you need on your growth journey. Because if your leadership falls, it doesn't matter how good it could have been.